Hello everyone, and welcome to Morale Q. Today's story is one that I believe will resonate with life. After all, it's not about avoiding the struggles, it's a story that will change your habit. Stick with us until the end and you might just walk away with a new perspective. Storms of your life. Short story, big lesson. During his summer holidays, a young boy eagerly awaited his trips to visit his grandfather. These visits were special, filled with adventures, stories, and plenty of time spent playing together. One afternoon, as the sun hung lazily in the sky, the boy approached his grandfather with a serious question. "Grandpa," he said, "when I grow up, I want to be successful. Can you tell me how to do that?" The old man smiled gently, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. He nodded thoughtfully and replied, "Come with me, my boy, and I'll show you something." They made their way to a nearby nursery, where the grandfather carefully selected two small plants. After purchasing them, they returned to the house. Once inside, the grandfather took one plant and placed it in a pot, setting it on a windowsill inside the house. He then took the other plant outside and planted it in the garden, where it would be exposed to the elements. "Now," said the grandfather, turning to his grandson, "which of these two plants do you think will grow better in the future?" The boy studied the plants for a while, his brow furrowed as he considered the question. After a few moments, he answered, "The plant inside the house will grow better. It's safe from storms, animals, and the harsh sunlight. The one outside will face so many dangers." The grandfather smiled warmly, nodding his head. "We'll see how things turn out," he said, his voice soft but certain. The boy returned to his parents soon after, but the memory of that conversation stayed with him. Years passed, and the boy grew into a young man. After 4 years, he returned to visit his grandfather, now eager to understand the lesson his grandfather had been hinting at. When the young man saw his grandfather again, he immediately asked, "Grandpa, remember when I asked you how to be successful? You didn't really give me an answer back then, but now I'm ready. Tell me what I need to do." The grandfather's face lit up with a smile. "Of course I haven't forgotten," he said. "But before I tell you anything, let's take a look at those plants we bought years ago." The old man led the young man outside, where the two plants had grown into magnificent trees. They first approached the plant that had been kept inside the house. It had indeed grown, but it was smaller than expected, confined to its pot. Its branches were sparse, and though it was healthy, it lacked the vibrancy and reach of the other tree. The grandfather then led his grandson to the other tree, the one that had been planted outside. It stood tall, its branches wide and strong, providing shade to anyone who passed by. The tree's roots had spread deep into the soil, and its trunk had thickened over the years, a symbol of resilience and strength. The grandfather turned to the young man with a knowing smile. "Now tell me," he asked, "which of these trees has grown better?" The young man paused, taking in the sight of the two trees. "The one outside," he said, his voice filled with awe. "But Grandpa, how is this possible? The plant outside had to face so many dangers, storms, strong sunlight, animals and other challenges. How did it grow so big and strong?" The old man chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Yes, the tree outside faced many difficulties, but those challenges made it stronger. It had the freedom to spread its roots as deep as it needed, and the storms it endured only made it sturdier. With each obstacle it grew more resilient. Today, it is so strong that no storm could easily harm it." The grandfather paused for a moment, allowing his words to settle in. "Let me tell you something important, my boy," he continued. In life, if you always seek comfort, if you always make easy choices, you will not grow as much as you could. Success doesn't come from avoiding difficulties, it comes from facing them head on. If you're ready to confront the challenges of this world, despite the dangers, then nothing will be impossible for you to achieve. The young man stood silently, absorbing his grandfather's words. He looked at the trees once more, and in that moment, he understood. The obstacles that we often view as threats or barriers are actually the very things that make us stronger. They are not there to stop us. They are there to shape us, to help us grow and become better versions of ourselves. Life, the grandfather explained, is like a great adventure. It's filled with twists and turns, with challenges that can seem like obstacles in our path. But, just like in a game, the fun and the growth come from figuring out how to overcome those challenges. Every time you face a hurdle, you have the opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to become more skilled. These challenges are like puzzles waiting for you to solve them. The young man thought for a long time, staring at the tree in the garden. He realized that the storms of life, the difficulties, the setbacks, and the hard times are not things to fear. They are part of the process, essential to our growth. The more challenges we face, the stronger we become. "Grandpa," the young man said finally, his voice filled with understanding, "I get it now. It's not about avoiding problems. It's about facing them, learning from them, and growing stronger because of them." The grandfather smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "Exactly. You are learning the most important lesson of all. If you want to be truly successful in life, you must be willing to take risks, to face the storms and to push through the tough times. Remember, every challenge you face is a step toward success." The young man nodded, feeling a sense of clarity he had never felt before. The path ahead would not always be easy, but he was ready for whatever life had in store. He had the courage to face challenges, knowing that each one would make him stronger and more capable. As the boy grew into adulthood, he carried his grandfather's lesson with him. He understood that obstacles were not to be feared, but embraced. Every difficulty was an opportunity to grow, and every storm was a chance to become more resilient. With this mindset, he tackled his dreams with determination, knowing that the road to success was not smooth, but filled with valuable lessons along the way. Life, after all, is not about avoiding the struggles. It's about learning how to rise above them, to face them with courage, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more successful than before. If this story has inspired you or someone you know, don't hesitate to share it. Thank you for watching. Till next time, take care and don't hesitate to struggles.